Hi guys, this is just a short video just to remind you how to factorise into single brackets. This is the second lesson that I've set for you this week and I've just had a few questions about it, so I just thought I'd make this just to help you a little bit. So, what I'd like us to do first of all is just to remind ourselves how to expand single brackets. So, if I had something, an easier type might be where I have 5 bracket x plus 4 here. So remember that this means that the 5 outside the bracket is multiplying every term inside the bracket. So first of all, what we did 5 times x, which gives us 5x, and 5 times 4, which gives us 20. So you'll notice that both of these terms here will be divisible by 5 because beforehand we'd times both of those terms by 5. So both of those terms here are divisible by 5. So let's say, for example, if I just had x on the outside, so I had, let's say, 3 plus x as the 2 terms inside the bracket, then again everything inside the bracket, or all of the terms inside the bracket, are getting multiplied by x. So first of all, x times by 3 just gives me 3x. Remember, we'll write that as 3x and not as x3 because that might get confused with x cubed. And then x times by x, which gives us x squared. And then you'll notice that afterwards, once the bracket's been expanded, both of these terms are divisible by x. They both have an x in them. So because x has multiplied both of those terms in the brackets, afterwards what I'm left with both have an x in either term. And then the last type that we were looking at before, we could have lots of, we could have x's and y's and numbers on the outside, but we'll just keep it simple for the moment. So if we had something like 2x on the outside, and then on the inside I could have, let's say, let's have 3x plus 4 on the inside there. So everything inside the brackets is getting multiplied by the 2x on the outside. So 2x multiplied by 3x, well, 2 times 3 is 6, and x times x gives me x squared. And then 2x times by 4, well, 2 times 4 is 8, so 2x times 4 is just going to give me 8x there. And again, what you'll notice, I had everything inside the bracket, or all of the terms inside the bracket, are being multiplied by 2x. So afterwards, if you look at just the numbers, both the 6 and the 8 are divisible by 2. With the, and then we also multiplied by the x, because we multiplied by 2x altogether. So there's an x term here, or there's an x element to both of the terms afterwards. So both of these terms afterwards are divisible by both 2 and x, so therefore they're divisible by 2x as well. So that's going to be quite important when I'm trying to put them back into the brackets afterwards. So if I have a look now at how I could get them back into the brackets afterwards, so remember we said before that if you expand the brackets, you take you get rid of the brackets, you multiply out the brackets, so there's no brackets afterwards. And when you factorise, you put the terms into the brackets, so you're looking at a highest common factor of the terms involved. So if I had, for example, let's say I have 3x plus 12, and I'm asked to factorise this. So factorise 3x plus 12, then what I need to see is that, is there a common factor between both of the terms here? So is there something that divides both 3x and 12? So you might want to think about that for a moment, but you can see that 3 and 12 are both divisible by 3. So therefore, because they're both divisible by 3, I could put 3 on the outside of the brackets, so that when I multiply the terms inside the brackets by 3, they'll both be divisible by 3 afterwards, just like these two terms here. So 3 times something gave me 3x, so I know 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times by something gave me 12, so if 3 times something is 12, 12 divided by 3 is 4, so that's just going to give me 3 bracket x plus 4. Sometimes it might be a little bit more tricky because it's not always just going to be the coefficient of the x term. It might be that the common factor isn't the 3. It might say, for example, I might have 6x plus 8. Now here I can't put 6 on the outside of the brackets, because if I do, well, 6 times x gives me 6x, but 6 times by something to get 8, well, that's not going to be a whole number, so it's not going to be factors. So when we say factorise, we're meaning that it has to be whole numbers there, so we're not going to use 6 there. So we need to find a whole number, an integer that goes into both 6 and 8. So you can see that both of those would be divisible by 2. So therefore 2 times something is 6x, so 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times something is 8, so 2 times 4 is 8. So therefore we're going to have inside the brackets 3x plus 4. If you're quite happy with expanding the brackets, but you're not too comfortable factorising the brackets at the moment, what you can always do afterwards is take what you had before, or take the answer that you have, and if you expand it, 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times 4 is 8, you should realise that what you're left with here is what you began with at the start, okay? But this is your final answer though. So that's your final answer because it's factorised, it's in the brackets. That's just, this bit here is just to check. Okay, so you might want to do that to check just while you're getting used to it at the moment. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that for a moment there. So we could also have, just like we had when we expanded the brackets before, an x on the outside, or perhaps 2x or 3x. So it could just be a letter on the outside, it could be a number, it could be both a letter and a number. So if I had something like, let's say, let's have x squared plus 4x. Just remember, if it's just x squared, you can think of that as 1x squared if you want. I know some of you think of that when you're collecting like terms, and that's absolutely fine. So there's no common factor other than 1 between the 1x squared and the 4. So we're not going to have a number on the outside, but you can see that both of these terms contain an x. You can think of the x squared if you want as x times x, and then that is obviously 4 times x. So because both of them can be written as something times x, then both of them can be divided by x there. So I know that I can have an x on the outside, and then I need to think x times something gives me x squared. Well, I know that's x times x. So x times x is x squared, and x times by something gives me 4x. So x times by 4 gives me 4x. So that's just going to be a 4 there. So it can be that you have a variable on the outside, that's just a letter, rather than it being a number. And then of course we could have sometimes that you have both a letter and a number. So let's say, for example, let's use y instead of x this time. So let's say if I had 2y squared plus 8y. Well, this time I can see that if I look, first of all, just at the numbers, well, both 2 and 8 are divisible by 2. And both y, and then if I look at the letters or variables, I have y squared and y, and both of those are divisible by y. So therefore I can have 2y on the outside of the brackets there. And then 2y times by something gives me 2y squared. So remember, this could be written as 2 times y times y. So 2y is just 2 times y, so I need to times that by y again to get 2y squared. And then 8y just means 8 times y. So 2y times by 4 gives me 8y there. So that's all we have to do to factorise single brackets. If you have any questions, then just let me know and show my homework, and I'll try my best to help you. Have a good day. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.